Thanks, Tucker. Millions of Americans are traveling for the Thanksgiving holiday despite the recommendation to not do so from the CDC. TSA reported that more than 1 million people went through airport security checkpoints on Sunday, the most since mid-March. As public health officials urge Americans to stay put, the travel industry doing the opposite. Travel expert Troy Petenbrink joins us now with more. Good morning, Troy. It's good to see you.
Good morning, Holly. Great to chat with you.
So, first of all, simplest question. I mean, you're a travel guy. It's what you do. It's one of your passions. Do you think it's safe to travel right now?
Well, I think people should be following CDC's recommendation right now and staying home. I think that, obviously, the question of is it safe to be on a plane? Is there a low risk? Yeah, actually, the data clearly shows that. The issue is there are so many steps involved, though, that increase that risk. It's the Uber you take to the airport. It's waiting at the gate. It's going out to the restaurants and the businesses with the destination you're visiting. All of those accumulate, and that creates great risk, unfortunately. And I think that right now, folks should just be waiting until we have this vaccine. And if you are wanting to travel, please be extra vigilant about following the guidelines.
You kind of caught my attention yesterday. We follow each other on Twitter, and I saw you saying, that you really felt like the airline industry was being a little bit irresponsible, encouraging people to travel.
Yeah, I mean, over the last few weeks, there's been some really aggressive advertising on the part of the travel industry, encouraging folks to go home for the holidays. And that's just the wrong messaging to happen right now. I think it's perfectly fine for folks to be considering things like staycations and those sort of things. And that is a great way to support the travel industry. I think buying gift cards for the holidays for folks who want to travel, when it's safer to travel, I think is a great idea. But aggressively pushing people to travel right now is just the wrong messaging to happen. And I know it's tempting when we're seeing those extremely low fares. I think, Steve was talking about this earlier, and it's unfortunate that they are so low now because they're not going to be that low later when we want to travel. And that's the unfortunate catch-22 about this. People see great opportunities. They have pandemic fatigue, and they're lured into this. And it's unfortunate because I do think there is going to be a price for us to pay later. And that's going to set the travel industry back even farther.
Well, I was going to say, what about from like the airline side, right? Like they're doing, hey, we're doing everything we can to stay afloat. We're doing what we can to keep, the actual plane safe. It's up to you to take the other precautions. Why shouldn't we be doing what we can so that we are there in the future and don't go under?
Yeah, I mean, there is definitely an argument on both sides of the issue. Again, I think there are ways, though, that the industry could be a little more responsible. I'd love to see the airlines right now doing big pushes for gift cards and things like that and encouraging messages. Let them go ahead and get the cash now that people can spend later. I think those would be great ways to do it. And I encourage folks to think about that for the holidays. Buy those gift cards, give money to the airlines and the hotels that you like for use later. I think that's a great way to approach it.
And what a great sign of hope, right? Travel in the future.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, Holly, you and I both want to hit the roads when this is over. I know that. But I want to make sure that that comes faster than later. And honestly, if we see these spikes again, and unfortunately, I think we are going to see these spikes again in the Christmas season and such, that's going to set us back. And it's just going to take longer for the industry to recover. And we don't want that.
You mentioned this real quickly in our final moments here. We just did the story about there are some cities that are really pushing the staycations, right? Help in your own hometown safely. You would be a big proponent of that.
Oh, absolutely. And I think there's great opportunities. Living here in Washington, D.C. for, over 25 years, there's still things I discover every day. And I think that's a great way to support your city. And go ahead, book a hotel night. The nice part about this now is that you can oftentimes check in using an app. You don't have to interact with folks. You get a change of scenery and you get to support the local economy. And I think that's a great way to do it. Book a hotel downtown and go to the Christmas market that just opened up, those sort of things. That's a great way to spend the holidays. And if you want to see your family and friends, head to Zoom.
There you go. Appreciate your advice greatly. Thanks, Troy. You have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
You do the same, Holly. Thank you.
Take care. Steve?